This episode is called Family. Another episode I love. Spoilers for everything Evil Dead leading up to and including this episode. The episode is rated TVMA, so will this video be? Let's dive right in. So, yeah, I think I'm going to start with the let's see, I guess it's not a previously on if it's a new season. I can never get the term straight, but the introduction, which kind of needs to, just in case someone just found out about this show with this episode, you don't want them thinking, oh, fuck, am I going to have to watch 2 entire seasons? Especially if they don't know that, oh, it's only 18 episodes, that's not, forever. If they think it's two seasons of 22 episodes each, they might be like, there's other fucking shit I could be watching than this. But, yeah, the intro very nicely, brings any and it had been months since, I believe, it had been a little while since season 2 aired, so, people might need a refresher. I did find it interesting, not in a bad way, that it doesn't really show Ruby ever turning good, because really, maybe it'll come up later in this season, but for now, yeah, you don't need to know that. You just need to know, yeah, she wrote the book, she's been around for a really long time, understatement of the century, and yeah, she's still seeking the book. This whole thing, yeah, very, very nicely done on that. And then we get to the first new thing we see. After, it shows the young woman finding the book, and we actually see her in this episode. And then we get the first bit of new, which is Ash talking about, I used to be a hero stopping evil. And then we realize it's a fucking, I want to say the term is infomercial for his store. Like, by the way, real quick so I don't forget, I really appreciate that Pablo did get to start Pablito's Fish and Chips. And yes, he is selling both, freshly cooked fish, still hot, and, the like, IT stuff, here's your fish and here is your hard drive, that's amazing. Really appreciate it. Ash fucks a lot of people over. That was legitimately nice of him. I mean, Pablo's earned it, but still, yeah. But no, yeah, Ash, the last season ended with him saying, he's staying in Elk Grove, and, yeah, now that evil is out of his life, he can do pretty much anything he wants to, and his dreams still don't go beyond a store in a small town. That's, like, this season, the show opened with him working, let's see, did they rename it from S-Mart? Because they didn't have the rights, I forget, but this small, hardware store kind of thing. I think it was also a hardware store, but yeah, a small store in a small town, and there he was, at the bottom of the, status-wise. Now he's in charge, and that's his big dream, which is just wonderfully, like, small-minded American kind of thing of, like, one day, it's like how in Simpsons, Otto is like, oh, I failed out of the 4th grade 3 times, and look at me now. Now I drive the school bus. That's like, can you believe it? Now I'm the one chauffeuring the school bus instead of just sitting in the school bus and having to go to school. So it's just, yeah, it really feels like, because we've never seen, this is the first time we've seen Ash just like he can do anything well, I suppose also season 2, although in that one there was still this thing of, is evil style. Oh, okay, yeah, it's the second time. When he's given the chance to do anything, he's either going to go to Jacksonville, which Bruce Campbell has said himself in commentary tracks, it's kind of just a shitty town. It's a shitty city. You know, there's nothing special about it. And the other thing is, you know, owning and operating the hardware store. And I love also, again, very American, how, yeah, they're like, oh, this is amazing. You know, I'm going to get to meet this, you know, violent guy that I thought for most of my life was a serial killer. You know, no, he's the good kind of serial killer. He kills bad guys. And see, somebody show this episode to Dexter Morgan. He's gonna feel so much better. You know, just yeah, I love that, and I love how the infomercial, and once he actually starts individually selling to people, that's the, yeah, he's still like operating the register and this whole thing, you know, but yeah, fucking everything's a sex pun, you know. What's better than a handful of my nuts? A big screw. Yeah. Unlike many other things, it won't, what was it, slip, slide, or tear, you know, yeah. And let's see. Yeah, she is apparently just known as Sexy Clerk. That was also quite funny, you know, she just, yeah, just making these sex puns and just, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, now that Kelly thinks that evil is gone, and she doesn't feel like she has to be around Ash. You know, she's ready, but yeah, she's in this other place, and she's apparently like a bouncer in a bar, which, yeah, I mean, her repressed frustration, repressed anger has to come out somehow, you know, with no demons to brutalize. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And I love how also she is just like, it's not just, okay, fine, I'll do this. It's like, you know, I'm gonna use your head as a cue ball next time. Who fucked with the TV? How many times do I gotta tell you? You know, just like, yeah, she's really, really just letting it all, you know, she's going for it. I love it. Let's see, but that is something you know, at the start of season 2, I was a little like, would she really still be around Ash? Because sometimes she really admires him, but a lot of the time she can't really stand him. But, you know, I can see how then maybe, you know, she did believe that it's just a matter of time before evil is going to attack again, you know. I like that, you know, the moment that we saw her call, I thought that she would be calling Ash or Pablo, but the fact that she, you know, evidently who she called was Dalton, you know, that, and yeah, makes a lot of sense. You know, Knights of Sumeria, you know, let's see. I don't offhand think that we've seen, let's see. Okay, IMDb trivia doesn't mention anything about, like, oh, we've seen them before. I don't think we've seen the Knights of Sumeria before. Does remind me of Oded Fur and his entire thing in at least one of the Mummy movies. I honestly don't remember if it, I think it's probably at least 2 of them where he, you know, in general, just Oded Fur, badass. Love him and everything I've seen him in. But yeah, you know, I forget what they were called, but that was also this thing of, you know, we know this ancient evil, it was just a matter of time before it attacks again, we're going to be ready, you know, so, yeah, not the biggest fan of the Mummy movies, but, just, yeah, if you're going to take any inspiration from them, and it's also, I'm sure there's other stories that have this idea of, you know, this ancient, you know, organization that is still fighting. Didn't at least one of the Hellboy movies do that also? I feel like there was at least one of them. Is it a spoiler to say which? I feel like I know which one, but I am not sure that would not be a spoiler. Let's just say it's one of them. But yeah, you know, that is a very clever, you know, it seems like he's joining the ensemble. it's going to be kind of a large ensemble. Although, well, let's see. It doesn't look like Ruby is going to be part of the ensemble of good guys, so that leaves one space open. I don't yet know if Brandy is going to also be part of the ensemble. I feel like it could go either way. If I had to guess, I think she is going to join. So yeah, it's only adding one more person to the ensemble. So, which, that's a sequel thing, making it bigger. And I appreciate, I think it would be a little much if they just added, a whole bunch. But yeah, Brandy to replace Rudy and then adding one member, that's, 100%. I think that'll work. Let's see. The moment that we learned, there's a daughter, I did at first think, oh, is that gonna be like, the girl that found the book? But she she has her head destroyed by Ruby's fist, which is also a good way. It's kind of the what's the word again? Term, rather, the saying, kick the puppy or something like that. You got to have your villain do something really evil, because it's like, okay, Amy didn't really want to help there, but Ruby didn't have to fucking demolish her head, except they needed some source of blood for the opening title. But yeah, let's see. And I did also at first think, oh, maybe it was, Rachel, but yeah, turned out to be Brandy. Let's see. I love Clueless Ash. You know this about me by now. He's it's right there on the TV, but he's like delivering his big spiel to this customer that he doesn't even notice. She's not looking at you anymore. She's clearly looking at the TV behind you. And then once it cuts out to the, not static, but the test, color test image thing, he finally looks at the TV and he's like, that bastard, I paid for 2 more spots. Wow. Let's see. I think that brings us nicely into... yeah, I like the Brandy and Rachel have good chemistry, which of course makes it all the more, like, it gets to us when Rachel is possessed and, some of the time fucking them up, some of the time just fucking with them, as is the Kandarian demon way. Let's see. I like when one of them asked, are you really that bourgeoisie? Which, yeah, sometimes I gotta remind myself how recent the show is, because some of the time it does have this 80s vibe to it, which I'm loving. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but yeah, the bougie thing is, yeah. Let's see. Right, I like when I didn't catch his name, but he was in the costume of the, what's it called again? The shit. He was not covered in shit. He was wearing like a, for the football team, it has a mascot. That's the word. Yeah, and he walks past and he's, he says like, you missed a spot or something, like, making fun of them for having to clean up the what they drew on the lockers. And I like the thing, this dick was my best drawing, and one of them calls him a dick and the other one adds less, which, yeah. Is that true though? Yes, that guy has no dick. And let's see, yeah, great when they come back, when the mascot comes, right, actually, yeah, I got it just briefly. I love that, I think she said her name was Amy, the the young woman who found the book. She walks up and is like, so I found this really creepy, like horrifying. Like, she's seen the cover. It's like, there's a face on the cover, and she's like, could this make me money? Again, small town America. Just like no sense of like I'm sorry, if I find a book that has like a creepy human face on it, I'm not gonna be like, oh, maybe I could get some money out of this. Not making that mistake twice. And yeah, the guy, who's like clearly very learned. He's reading aloud from it, and you get the evil POV. Right. I also really like when when Ruby walks up to him, and she's like giving these ancient names. Different cultures have given her different names, and he's able to translate them. And she just ends with, no, I just go by Ruby now. And but yeah, the POV travels to the high school, and the mascot comes back, and he just stands there, and it's again this wonderful thing of like, because it's in reality it's maybe a little goofy. They were dress up as animals. I guess if this episode had come out just a few years later, they would have had like some joke about, you gotta get these furries out of public schools or something. Jesus fucking Christ, conservatives are so fucking naive. Anyway, yeah, the a joke about kitty litter in the bathroom or something. But yeah, in real life it's kind of goofy that we dress up as animal mascots to like, I don't know. I've never really gotten the mascot thing, but anyway, I think it's to like hype people up for the game or something like that. Team spirit, that whole thing. In real life, it's kind of goofy. You see someone walking past, especially because the head's off when he's walking past and talking to them. It's like, that fucking guy, goofy. But then when he appears later and he's just standing there and the head's on, with the lighting and the music and the complete lack of movement or response, then it's creepy. Very nice. Evil Dead has always been really good at taking something that under the right circumstances could be, like nice, a positive thing, and then making it creepy. In the first movie, we have the fact that, early on, Ash gives this, necklace, which Bruce Campbell jokes in the commentary track, oh, that thing's hideous, she should break up with him for that, or something like that, she should throw it away because it's so hideous, something like that, yeah, that's early in the movie, and by the end of the movie, he's having to use it to destroy evil, that sort of thing. Changing context, very effective for horror, also comedy, which, again, there's a little bit of comedy in the first one, but certainly it's been horror comedy from the second movie onwards. Not as much in the newer movies, which I think you're not going to outdo Raimi, so go in a slightly different direction. I think that works for them. Anyway, yeah, one of the girls is like, "Fuck off," and he just stands there, no reaction to that, and yeah, it is this thing of like, okay, that's. Yeah. And yeah, so he, and the lights go out, and then he's closer, and all the blood that just pours out, and then they start slipping, and they're surrounded by blood, like literally, blood all over the floor, and just, yeah, really, really nice and creepy. I love near the end where now it is an actual, like, animal's mouth, and it's like drooling on Bruce Campbell. He's always getting his. It's not only him, but someone in Evil Dead is always getting their face covered in some kind of nasty liquid. Let's see I once Ash meets Candace, I'm not the biggest fan of, like, overall I really enjoy it. Like I said, I love the episode, love the show, but not the biggest fan of women being shamed for sexual activity. Like, he also engaged in sexual activity. It's such a ridiculous double standard. This thing of, women lose some of their worth once they engage in sex, whereas men only gain it. Just, yeah, completely ridiculous. But the let's see. yeah, the fact that he's stupid enough to not, yeah, he actually did get married, and suddenly he remembers, because he liked fucking her so much, so he didn't stop to think, wait, is this gonna bite me in the ass later, and yeah. Let's see, and there's no way that I impregnated you, because I always used my favorite, my lucky rubber, and that thing went, what was it, over 50 or something like that, which, like, Ash, you can't use the same condom over and over without at least cleaning it out properly, or maybe, like, wrapping it around the other way, which you can't do that 50 times unless you have access to some kind of sci-fi technology. Anyway, but let's see. Right, and yeah, I like the bit about, he remembers that Candace goes by Candy, and he knows that their daughter's name rhymes with that, but he doesn't get Brandy right away. He calls her, like, Mandy, and let's see. Yeah, Sandy, Mandy, and then he says, Brandy, and fuck you. And then he says, we're still getting to know each other. I don't know, Ash. Someone telling you to, someone saying fuck you to Ash feels like they know who you are. But yeah, I know. He's referring to the fact that he hasn't memorized her name yet. Yeah. He hid a doobie 30 years prior, and now he's just gonna light it up. Like, oh my fucking Christ. Like, Jordan Belfort up in this motherfucker, taking just... Once it's past the ideal date, you probably shouldn't be taking stuff like that, Give it to me, I'll test it for you. And let's see... right, some very nice gore in the aftermath of the Kandarian, attacking where the book is, where the guy has been reading from it. That's right. I like that Pablo, like, he met Brandy, I don't know, 20 minutes ago, and he's like, so this one time I was cut in half. Just, dude, this is not... He's been around Ash so fucking long. He doesn't know how to small talk to people who don't already know. Like, yeah, she knows some of this demon stuff, but, she just met you maybe a little early to spill your guts, as it were. And, let's see. I think that... more or less, right? Really cool. We see Ruby, like, impregnate herself with the book, and we see the thing starting to, like, push against her stomach, which really reminded me of Aliens with the chest burster. So very nicely done there. I don't know if it's an intentional reference, but again, that just is creepy, especially this thing of, like, if you see a woman who's pregnant with a human baby, you might be like, oh, that's adorable, have you thought of a name yet? Please don't kill anybody at the gender reveal party. Maybe don't even have a gender reveal party, but, but when you see it and it's clearly, that's not a human being, that's clearly, this demon, then it's like, this is wrong, you don't, yeah. Let's see. Right, I appreciate that we see Dalton, like, he clearly, the camera is telling us this guy's important, and he's looking directly at Ash, so, okay, there's some kind of thing there, but we, the audience, have never seen him before, so, we don't quite yet know, and then when they're, later in the high school, when they're face-to-face, he kneels and is like, I'm so glad to be fighting evil with you, Very nicely done. Just that little bit that he did show up, and yeah, clearly he was who Kelly called. And we get the line, "You're right, evil has returned," So yeah, they met, and he explained to her, there's no way it's over, this is not how it goes, and yeah, if he's, like, part of a movement to fight them, yeah, he knows this is... this is probably, it's probably one of those things where, every so often it reappears. It yeah. So yeah, he knows it doesn't just go like that. You know, somehow, some way, the book is going to reappear. Right. I also like Pablo telling Candace about the time travel, which, like, again, just like, dude, way too early to be diving into that. Let's see. I think. Um, yeah. Really loved I love the misdirect that, you know, like, Rachel and Brandy are hiding inside um, music classroom. It's probably called something else. Yeah, and you know, there's shadows and someone's out there, and then it cuts and it's like, no, that's actually Ash and the rest of the, you know, because, you know, you can't tell from across. Yeah, and the fact that, you know, he meets Brandy and he's like, you know, you know, I'm your dad, and again, as per, you know, Candace is like trying to break it to her gently, and Ash just blurts it out. You know, and he's like, you can call me daddy, unless, of course, you're, you know, a Kandarian demon, in which case, you know, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Just like, Jesus Christ, Ash, you know, just, yeah. And yeah, turns out to be Rachel, who, again, just phenomenal, what's the word? Evil Dead act. Yeah, possessed Deadite acting, you know. It hasn't been mentioned on one of the, I don't think, on one of the DVD. You know, I've watched all the DVD extras for season 1 and season 2. There's gotta be like a Deadite camp or Deadite or a, you know, Deadite personal trainer for some of these, because they all just nail it. You know, this is because it's very specific. Like, if a Deadite performance is just a little bit off, we immediately are like, no, that's not a Deadite. There's something wrong here, because they're not quite zombies. They're not like there's other demon possessed beings. Like, if one of them was just like Regan in the first Exorcist movie, you know, that's not quite it. You know, I mean, you've got the swearing, you've got like taunting and blasphemy and such, but just it's not quite the same. You know. Let's see yeah. I can't help but wonder if the scene of, you know, all these instruments attacking because the Kandarian demons using, you know, I guess maybe, let's see, this isn't one of the episodes that Sam Raimi directed. He is credited as writer, it looks like, but yeah, you know, it really reminds me of, it's not the exact same, but there's also supernatural, you know, weaponized music in the second Doctor Strange movie. So I don't know. It's possible that the idea in this episode didn't come from him. Maybe he was inspired by this episode or something. But yeah, really remind me of. And again, just such great creative use of, you know, seeing instruments attack. You know, Ash shooting a horn and saying blow, and just, yeah. And Rachel ends up, you know, sliced. You know, her face is sliced through with the shit. What are those called again? The thing with the name and the harp. And there's also, you know, Harpo, he calls, which has to be a reference to the Marx Brothers. And also, great, you know, at one point, like, the drumsticks, like, let's see, one goes in his ear, one goes up his nose. That's definitely a Three Stooges reference, so very nicely there. And that was also, like, for a while, Rachel is just, like, playing instruments, sometimes reasonably well, sometimes really poorly. And, you know, we get a couple of new words for the ashy slashy thing. And you know, the threat of, you know, she's also going to kill his child, you know. Yeah. I think that might be all that I had to say. But yeah, fantastic season opener. Really looking forward to the rest of the season. And let's see. Yeah, so IMDb trivia. When Ash was in the hallways of his old high school, he remarked that he met his first Linda there. The Linda he was referring to was Linda Emery. I never know how to pronounce it. N-E-E Bates, who was featured in the show's second season. Additionally, this reference serves as a joke because throughout the original film trilogy, Ash's girlfriend Linda was portrayed by 3 different actresses. So yeah, very nicely done. Huh. Okay, this has 11 upvotes and 11 downvotes, so I don't know. I'm not really super familiar with that game series, but someone wrote, one of the symbols on Pablo's stomach on his right side looks suspiciously like the Triforce from the Legend of Zelda game series. I guess I could see, yeah, I think I know what I've seen other people talk about. I know what the Triforce looks like. I can kind of see what they mean. It is possible that that's like an in-joke. Let's see, and okay, so this last one, this has 7 upvotes and 8 downvotes. I don't quite know why, but yeah, Dalton says 1 for 1. Ooh, that would be Ash, 1 for 1. 1 for all and all for one. He's quoting the motto of Alexandre Dumas, The Three Musketeers. I don't know why that was downvoted. I thought that was a cute little... Yeah, and there are 4 of them, aren't there? Because this is when... Yeah, so I don't know. I like that. And, you know, Ash is like, oh, no. Let's see. And, yeah, Ghost Beater's back. Let's see. And... Yeah, I like when Ash says, you know, give me a hint. And she punches him, and he says, I said a hint. I mean... I don't defend Ash Williams very often, but in his defense, in this particular situation, I will say the fact that she has so much anger for him that she's willing to punch him in the face doesn't narrow it down. That could be just about anyone he's ever met. Let's see. And... Yeah, I like Brandy saying, you know, the whole town's excited because their ex-psycho killer is opening a hardware store. And then she says, you know, kill me now, which of course also makes us think, shit, is she gonna die by the end, you know? And Rachel says, you know, if you were like them, I would have to slit my wrists. And, you know, later we see, yeah, the when she was possessed, the Deadite did, you know, slash her wrists. And let's see. This isn't just a well-stocked hardware store slash sex toy emporium. That's a truly wonderful, yeah. Yeah, and with that, yeah. Gonna do the next episode next week, you know, possibly Monday, possibly Tuesday. I'm not 100% certain, but something like that. And yeah, really looking forward to it. This was such an excellent season opener, and yeah, so I hope to catch you then.